It is a fact that America guards its sovereignty with such hysterical jealousy that American diplomats in this city still refuse to pay the congestion charge and owe Londoners more than £9 million, which could be spent on transport improvements. And again, it is paradoxical, inconsistent, incoherent that we are being urged every week to send £350 million of our taxpayers' money to Brussels. I think what you've got is a situation in which the government is ringing around every other friendly country, and indeed all countries most countries are in theory friendly, and they're saying, look, you know, we're in a bit of a spot. Can you say something positive about our membership of the European Union? In the American case, I think that there's been a long-standing American policy to, as the President said this morning in his piece in the Daily Telegraph, America sees it very much as a question of tidying up the European continent after the horrors of the Second World War, the need to ensure that peace is maintained. And I would take issue with the President's argument there, because I think the difficulty is that the European Union is now causing such stresses and strains that actually remaining in is the insecure option. The euro is causing riots in some parts of the EU, massive unemployment, massive youth unemployment. We've got a huge immigration crisis, and I think it's time for a different approach. And that's why I think getting out, taking back control of our borders, taking back control of our money is the right way forward.
All right, Shalawam. Want to give all praises to Yahawah, Ba'ashem YAHAWASHI. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much love, prayers, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's teaching this word in sincerity and truth, and that's teaching in the name of Yahawah, Ba'ashem YAHAWASHI. All right, I got two other brothers with me. You know, you brothers can state your name.
Shalawam, to the brother Shar.
And you know, we basically got together, you know, to do this lesson. Brothers watched the Apostle Tahar's video, you know, and this is just like a response, basically a discussion, you know, of on the question that Tahar, you know, asked. You know, let me go to it real quick. This is his video, and Jacob's trouble, Brexit / the EU and NATO, and you know, the Apostle asks, what could be the prophecy? You know, what are the prophecies of this matter? Which basically, you know, in this article talking about Britain leaving NATO, or NATO is trading off Britain and Asia, you know. So, you know, we just got together and just basically through the spirit, you know, we're gonna try to edify brothers, and Lord willing, you know, this to edify you, you know. So Shalom, you had the article, right?
Yeah, well, you know, first, you know, everything about the video, you know, it made me think of, you know, like a couple of scriptures. But the first scripture, you know, I want to grab that came to mind, you know, y'all break it down, the spirit hit y'all, is Obadiah 1:7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is no understanding in them. Right? So, you know, just based off of that, you know, with dealing with Britain, you know, this is the start of, you know, nations separating from America, you know, and slowly but surely being against them, you know, and Britain is that forerunner, because Britain is basically America's mother, you know, going into Jeremiah 50:12. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. And, you know, you had the guy pretty much, you know, in that video, guy's name was Cameron, and, you know, he basically was stating different reasons, you know, why it's time for, you know, England pretty much to break off of, you know, the EU and NATO. And pretty much the things that he said that America's, you know, they guard their sovereignty with such jealousy, you know, and going into the word sovereignty, basically means supreme lordship. You know, they waive their supreme lordship with such jealousy that they don't want the other nations, you know, to be as them. You know, that's why when it goes into the book of Revelations, it speaks about, the woman that sat upon the scarlet colored beast. You know, and that beast represents what roughly paraphrasing, EU and NATO. And, America, she is that woman with that golden cup in her hand, so she's waving her magic wand in front of all the other nations, like, you can't touch me, you can't touch me, and the other nations are sick of it. That's why you got these different wars and all these other nations speaking up against America, wanting them to be destroyed, basically. So that's what this time is leading up to, and what everything with Prophet Sahar, was getting into is leading up to, And he also said in that video that, it's getting pointless for, Britain to pretty much be sending, X amount of dollars every week onto Brussels. He said, spending their taxpayer money to send money over to them when they're not really getting no benefit, from it, And he also said that, it's time for, them pretty much to take back control of their borders and take back control of their money, because they're tired of America having their hand in their pockets. They have Americans over there that they say don't want to pay certain congestion charges and certain taxes and fees that can help their economy out to even further progress. So America's trying to hinder their progress. So, Britain pretty much feels as though that it's time for us to break off because they're not receiving any benefits from it. And then you've got Bill Clinton, pretty much teaming up with this guy, what's his name? Yes, Blair. Yeah, Tony Blair and Bill Clinton, they're supposed to be joining forces to battle against Brexit. To try to stop them from wanting to leave, the EU and NATO. So you got America trying to put up great standards, for this to not happen. But it's going to happen because it's clearly evident, within prophecy.
Yeah. I want to grab a scripture real quick. The first scripture that you quoted, because our first thing when I heard Tahar, he raised the question, I immediately thought of this, Obadiah 1:7 again. And it says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. And, the border, I see it as, look what's happening. You got America in the Middle East. That's over there to where in the Middle East, to where that the World War III is going to be. So, they can't just forfeit and take themselves out of the commotion and the war that's going on. And also too, NATO had also stated that if there's 5 countries in one region, that in one at the same time, that's considered a world war, And it says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. And like you got into SHALAWAM, Britain. Britain is what, the mother of America.
Mm-hmm.
And basically Britain is now turning their backs on America. But when you look at it, Britain was with America when they was to go into the Middle East and fight against what they call this so-called boogeyman ISIS. But now what the climax of this war, or this scruffle, you want to call it, back and forth with, Russia, back and forth with China. Now Britain done turned their back on you. You know what I'm saying? So it says, with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid the wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I had on that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know what I'm saying? And I got a scripture to back up you guys. You know what I'm saying? It's the book of Revelation, chapter 17. We start at verse 16. It says, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. And the 10 horns represents NATO. That represents NATO, and the whore that the scripture is talking about talking about America, and it's saying that it's saying that the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast shall hate the whore. You know, when some of those 10 horns that some of those 10 horns that it represents is Britain. You know, represents Britain alongside Germany. You know, because that's one of the articles that the apostle put out there and mentioned Germany. You know, because now they're in a situation where America and the European countries, they're at odds one against another. You know, and I actually want to read an excerpt from an article that I found, and it says, well, the name of the article is Broken Dreams. He used hope of NATO partnership with U.S. may be shattered. You know, in a quick excerpt of the article, it says Friedman said the U.S. government isn't happy with the fact that despite promises that each NATO member will devote 2% of its GDP to defense, Europeans aren't contributing. Meanwhile, the United States contributes 2.7% of its annual GDP to bill. You know, saying that so America is putting forth their into NATO, but you got other countries holding out as far as, you know, in their contributions to NATO. And that's going into the point of what Cameron was bringing out, you know, in that video, how they pretty much got to hold on to their money. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately,